recommend it to the House. Thank you.
I call Eugenia Sage.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. Thank you. I'm pleased to take what will be a short call on the Statutes Amendment Bill. And just looking through the bill, looked at Part 7, where there's a change to the Conservation Act, and I guess that illustrates the nature of the changes that are in this bill, because there are just 2 clauses there, and they amend Section 38 of the Conservation Act, which itself is in the miscellaneous part of the Principal Act, the Conservation Act, and it's entitled Hunting, etc., which I'm not sure is the best drafting. But what this amendment is doing is ensuring that in Section 38 it's about the issue of hunting permits. You can't go hunting on public conservation land unless you have a hunting permit issued by the Director-General, subject to public safety and other requirements. And it is an offence under the Principal Act not to comply with the conditions of the hunting permit. And what the bill does here is ensure that if you're using a trap on conservation land to go hunting, that you need to have a hunting permit and you need to comply with the Act. Because previously, the Principal Act listed nets, poison, snares, hunting weapons, but it didn't mention traps. So what the bill does is it inserts traps and adds it to the list of killing mechanisms which you need a permit for. And I guess, Mr Speaker, making a point similar to others, that when the Statutes Amendment Bill is making small technical changes like that, then it should also be making the changes which a lot of National Party backbenchers have dreamt up in terms of their members' bill. The one like Nook Karako with the advertising of lost luggage from airports, the one with the developed by Waitaki MP Jackie Deans, which are typical of, I guess, the National Party and its attitude to local government, telling local government what to do by requiring local authorities to promote a customer focus in the way they provide public services and the way in which they undertake their regulatory responsibilities. Local authorities know to be customer focused, but it highlights the distrust with which this government treats councils that it sees fit to have a national member require that in a private member's bill. All those sorts of bills could be included in the Statutes Amendment Bill instead of clogging up the time that we have on Members' Day to debate what could be, if they were being lodged by opposition parties, quite substantial changes to law and policy. So, Mr Speaker, the Statutes Amendment Bill should be dealing with a number of the matters which National Party backbenchers have in their private members' bill, because it is really an abuse of the parliamentary process to deny us the time to debate genuine measures which would advance policy and legislation. And I guess that is typical of this government, the way in which it patronises select committees, denies the select committees the chance to actually debate substantive changes to legislation, has officials debating that with the minister instead, and then has select committees acting as a mere cipher on controversial legislation. And again, it's similarly with these these members' bills. But, Mr Speaker, given that Parliament costs around $42,000 an hour for the time that we spend debating legislation, I will conclude by commending this bill to the House.